To go. Ladies
Woohoo.
and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here on Naked Passion Podcast. Tonight we've got the brilliant guest, Sally Estlin, joining us. Sally, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Absolute pleasure. I've quite enjoyed our chats so far, and I'm excited to see where we go with this. But I think let's just actually, you know what? Why don't you give the audience a little bit of a background on yourself before we dive into it, Sally? A little bit of the background story or origin story of yourself.
Yeah, so I'm based down in Melbourne, or outside of Melbourne, actually. I'm a mum of four, and over the past sort of 10, 12 years, I sort of have been following the energy. And prior to kids, I was in banking and marketing and finance. And then post-kids, went down a very different line and became a personal trainer, massage therapist, studied in all different areas of natural therapies, natural medicine. And so today I'm still a personal trainer, got a gym, but also do quantum healing and also wellness coach, do intuitive card readings, a whole heap of things. But following the energy has now brought me to now what I've just launched, a empowered clothing range, bamboo workout wear for women committed to their well-being.
I love that. And what kickstarted that, or what brought that into your life, do you think?
Well, it's when I was married and everything wasn't going too well at the end, I started to follow the energy, those little niggles or that guidance inside of you, that little voice in your head that says, no, don't do that, do this. And I'm thinking, I've been listening to that voice for a long time, but tucking it under the carpet. And so I thought, no, bugger it. I'm going to start following the energy and listening to that voice. And so over the past 10, 12 years, it's drawn me down this path. So working in quantum healing and wellness coaching and things, I thought, I'm just not reaching enough people. And, I want to bridge that gap between meeting people where they're at and taking them on a wellness journey, if you like, on a more spiritual path and aligning with their own energy. So the story is pretty cool, actually. I was in a mastermind group and we were reading different books, and I was with one of my mates. We read over the weekend Joe Vitale's the book, The Secret to Attracting Money, Secret to Attracting Money, I think it is. And so I binged the book because I love to walk in nature. So I was walking along the beach both days, listening to my Audible books. And the last chapter of the book was saying, the way to make money is to do what you're passionate about. And I thought, well, what am I passionate about? I thought, well, two main things: walking in nature every day, connecting with nature, listening to empowering books or podcasts like yourself. And, because it really, personal development, but, it really lifts up my soul, brings me joy. And I thought, well, what else do I do? And so working out every day, being a personal trainer, fitness bit of a head, and workshopping life with my girlfriends. So I thought, well, how do you monetize that? Because I just love to do it. It's my non-negotiables: walk an hour and a half every day and work out most days. And I thought, well, I want to meet people in a practical way. And I thought, well, we get dressed every day. And for many years, I've been wearing chakra colors. Melbourne's a very black center, and it's black and gray, and it's sort of dead energies in many ways. And years ago, my yoga teacher said to me, why does everyone in Melbourne wear black? And so I started wearing color, and then would dress in color for my mood for the day, if you like. So I thought, well, let's combine the power of color, because everything is energy, right? So whatever color you're drawn to, it's linking into some energy behind it. Combine it with your chakras, which are energy centers within your body. And then why not throw in the healing properties of crystals and also combine that with powerful intentions and affirmations? So voila, here we are a year later. I've now just launched a clothing range encompassing all of that, 7 chakra colors. And it's just followed the energy. That's how it all came about.
I love that. So much to unpack there. I do want to come back maybe in the 3rd chapter on the quantum healing. And explore that. But first things first, Sally, we've got a great tradition on this show of 2 truths and a lie.
Okay.
And I got to be honest, my strike rate's pretty good. It's pretty good. It ain't perfect, but what is? But So why don't you deliver the two truths and a lie, and I'll have a crack and see if I can't pick out the lie.
Okay, so I'm 5'3". My favorite food is seafood, and I love to travel.
Oh, goodness. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
You haven't met me before, baby.
Yeah, no, well done. Let's go process of elimination. I'm going to say you are 5'3".
Incorrect.
I'm wrong straight away out the gate. All right, well, there's a big cross there. And I'm going to say that you don't like seafood.
I love seafood. It's my favorite.
God, so I'm 0%.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go. You've got me. All right, walk us through it.
Okay, so I'm 5'2.5". It's a big difference. when you're vertically challenged, whatever,
Yes.
every half counts, right? So
Yep.
it's not 5'2" and it's not 5'3", it's 5'2.5". And my absolute favorite food is seafood, and I do love to travel. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Fair enough. You got me good. What's your favorite seafood?
It's not lobster. What's the other thing? The crab thing.
Bugs.
Bugs.
Yes.
Love bugs. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. And you love to travel.
Yeah, I've done a lot of travel over my years, and I backpacked for 3 years when I left uni. I call that the degree of life, just really getting to know people, traveling around, getting to know different cultures. It's amazing.
And where did you go in those 3 years?
Oh, all over. India for 6 months, all across Middle East, Asia. I worked in the States doing summer camp counselling, was one of the counsellors there a couple of times, all through Europe, Asia, everywhere, as you did. But that was back in the 80s, babe, probably even before you were born.
I'm an 84 model, so yeah. So, all right. So I certainly want to explore empowered clothing. I won't assume, actually, Sally. I'll just ask the question. What is the most exciting thing happening in your world right now?
Well, yes, it is actually just launching this because it's something completely out of my comfort zone. As I said, I follow the energy, and who would have thought someone who knows nothing about fashion has gone down that rabbit hole and produced a line of clothing.
So where do you start? Someone that with using your words, doesn't know anything about fashion. You've followed the energy and you've landed on launching this fashion brand. Congratulations, first and foremost, if that's the place you're starting from. Where do you start? How did that come to be?
I know. So as I said, it came out of reading this book, and I finished that book on a Sunday afternoon, and then Monday morning, I'm in an energy group, and where we sort of support each other with our hopes and dreams. And I don't know, we meet up every morning. Then I did a meditation, a pyramid meditation. Then I was in another sort of supportive, like-minded community group. And I don't know, I was just feeling the vibe, thinking, okay, I've got this idea, but universe, I did it with them. I put it out to the universe saying, hey, can you land something down for me? And so by that evening, I came up with this name, Empowered Clothing, Dressed with Intent, and I'd registered it in ASIC. Then I thought, knowing nothing about any of this, but I want to manufacture in Australia. Coming out of COVID in Melbourne was pretty challenging. And I thought, let's bring back manufacturing back in Australia. Let's boost up our own economy. So I thought, right, I want to make something in Australia, preferably in Melbourne if possible. And so I put that out there by Friday that week. So this was Monday. And by Friday that week, I had found through a website, Ethical Clothing Australia, a group that's based in Melbourne that literally holds the hands of people who have ideas, entrepreneurs who want to debut into the fashion industry, but either have got no experience or don't know where to start. So, I signed up with them. I couldn't believe it. It came, and they're in Collingwood around the corner here. And so,
are you serious? That's
unreal. They're all about bringing manufacturing back to Australia, helping small businesses get started without doing big runs because it's so expensive. The fashion industry is so wasteful, Nathan. It's crazy. It's up there first in top 3 most wasteful industries in the world. It's clogging up our waterways. It's frightening what I've learned. So now I'm really strong about sustainability and ethically manufacturing clothing. So sustainable fabrics. So I've learned so much. It's been incredible. What a journey.
I had actually heard that not too long ago, the idea that how wasteful the fashion industry is and traditionally always has been. Yeah, I was surprised because it's not exactly a well-known fact, that one.
No, and when you think about it, fashion or fast fashion, when it's in, it's in. It's not, where does it go to? And then when you do manufacture offshore, there's a lot of faults because you're not there, and it's big bulk runs and things. So yeah, I've learned so much, and that's why I'm just doing small run production to test the market and not have all this extra waste. And I've also created, timeless pieces, right? So that they're not just in for a season and then they've gone. So, it frightens me, the amount of waste in this world, and the planet can't support it.
Mm-hmm. Talk me through the colors, Sally.
Okay, so are you familiar with chakras at all? Have you heard of them?
I am familiar with it. I'm not well known with it. I am I think 40 pages into my first Ayurveda, I don't even get the pronunciation yet, book. I am a pitta, and I am wildly fascinated with that entire realm of Eastern philosophy and beliefs, and how it ties into everyday health. So familiar, yes. Across it fully, no.
No, that's okay. So as I said earlier, everything is energy, right? So I work with energy. Everything is energy. So color is an energy. So I'll go through the colors, but you just tell me what color you're drawn to. So I actually work with the 13 chakra system, and that's a whole other conversation. Don't need to go into that. But most people know about the 7 key chakras, and they're energy centers within our bodies, right? So they're in your etheric body, and they all have different, aligned to different purposes, if you like. So like the base chakra is about anchoring yourself in, and it's very much about your basic needs, survival, that sort of thing. And the color is red. Then the next color is orange, which is your sacral chakra, and that's all about creativity. And then the yellow one is around your belly button. So the sacral one is down by your sacrum, and the base is at the base of your spine. Then the solar plexus, on front of your tummy there, above your tummy button, that's about empowering. And then the next one up is, and that's yellow. Then the heart can be green or pink, and that's obviously about love yourself, receiving in love for others. Throat is about expression. That's a light blue color, and so I'm wearing the light blue underneath, if you can see that. And third eye here, which is your intuition. Oh, hang on, just put that off. Intuition there is a dark blue or an indigo. And then crown is your connection here, and that's in the purple or a violet color, or it can be white as well. So that's the 7 colors that we've gone with: red, orange, yellow, pink, light blue, dark blue, and purple. And I've got it in 2 styles, so in a racer back and in a long sleeve. But yeah, it's so you're stepping into the energy of that color, right? And that chakra. So and I'm combining that with the healing properties of crystals. So I've got the same colored crystals in a heart shape, linking in for each of the colored tops. So like pink rose quartz for your heart, amethyst for your crown chakra. So that sort of thing. So what color are you drawn to, Nathan?
Whatever color looks good on me, Sally, is usually what I try and run with. And the irony there is, I guess I'm well known to not have much fashion sense. So as far as what colors, my new, I guess, wardrobe getup is more, mainly sort of for work, I guess, creams, blacks and whites, things, salmons, pastel blues, things that are easily go together, I guess. As far as my own personal choices, I've always been a fan of the purple shirt.
Purple. See, the purple is representing this higher self connection, right? Connection with above, the source, with God, love, godliness, or whatever, just above. So that's that high connection stuff. So that's whatever color you're drawn to is the energy that you're requiring to step into.
Isn't that interesting? And one of my favorite bits of trivia, Nathan actually means gift from God. Don't take anything from that, but so isn't that interesting how what my name means, and purple shirts have always been my sort of favorite go-to. So that is It is quite interesting.
My connection, yeah. Wow, there you go, expanding your consciousness up there, baby.
It's wild. All right. So talk me through the actual journey here, Sally. So you've actually, before we dive down to that, it sounds like you have, or at least sounds like manifesting things is quite a large enough part of your life that you've brought it up many times so far. So talk, I guess, myself and the audience through, what does manifestation mean to yourself, and how has that played a part of your life?
I'm really good at manifesting.
Yeah.
It's where you become the master creator, right? You draw in, or you call in what it is, or you command actually up to the universe what it is that you're choosing to bring into your life. But there's three key parts to it. It's just, first of all, being clear on what it is that you're calling in, and then feeling into it. So, as if you can visualize it, you can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it, you can touch it, you can see it, you can see as if it's already here right now. And then pairing that up with the gratitude as if you've already received it. So
Yes.
I've manifested a house or several houses. I've manifested cars. I've manifested partners. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's amazing. And the thing is, when you manifest, you choose the what and allow the how to happen. So you never know when it's going to appear or how it's going to appear, but you're choosing the what. So, you might want a girlfriend or something, and then you've got it in your head what you're after or whatever, but you never know when it's going to appear or how or whatever. It's just always magical. That's how the universe works. They catch you by surprise every time.
I had, so I've sort of scratched the surface is probably a fair way to put it, in a lot of, that quantum and healing sort of space, and seen very minimal, right? I don't want to position it to be something that's not, but some of Joe Dispenza's work on YouTube, and he's obviously got a lot of shorts now and whatever else. And the when you said the gratitude, that was because you hear people talking about manifesting, all the time. You just got to open your ears and you'll find it. And I heard him say that one piece about you have to be grateful that you already have it. And that was the missing link for me, of what I knew it to be so far. So
you're drawing it in. So in human terms, please and thank you are our manners. In universal terms, it's gratitude. The more grateful you are, it brings you back. It shifts your energy up to be more positive, because we've got so much to be grateful for, and often we just get clouded and forget about that, and we just worry about the negative stuff. But yeah, I'm right into Joe Dispenza. I went to his advanced retreat in Mexico for a week.
Wow.
Meditated my butt off. Game changer about tapping into the quantum realm, and that's why I've gone down that healing path in that area now. But yeah, it's the key to manifesting is really just feeling it as if you've already received it, and the gratitude and the joy of how it makes you feel. I am so grateful for this, and it's incredible. I do a little ritual every morning where I include 3 things that I'm grateful for over the last 24 hours, because it amplifies it. Because as I said, I'm just working with energy. So energy is there for us, and it's just tapping into how to utilize it for our higher good.
Yes, that's brilliant. I want to come back to this, right? So we'll call that chapter 3, because there's 3 hours right there. Let's bring it back to the start of your clothing line. Yeah. So you've sort of thought, all right, well, what am I going to do? You've put it out to the universe. The universe is giving you not just, I guess, support, but support on your doorstep. It doesn't get much better than that.
No, and that's what I mean. I manifested it. I literally put it out there in my meditation on the Monday. I get the name by the Monday night, and then by the end of the week, I'd found this group in Melbourne that held my hand all the way through. It's incredible. It's incredible. But every day I just step into my gratitude, and just the thing is, you've just got to overcome any fear. You've got to trust, believe, and allow. There's lots of work that you've got to do on yourself to get to that stage. Trust that it's possible. Trust that you're worthy of receiving. There's lots and lots about self-worth and self-value here that you've got to work through. Then believe that it's possible, believe that it's all achievable, and just allow the universe to give it to you. So you've got to give it up to receive. So I always have the analogy of a glass full of water. if the glass is full, you can't accept anything more in there. So you've got to give something up in order to receive. So you've got to let go to fill it back up again.
And when you say let go, are you talking of your current belief system? Is it letting go of physical things?
Yeah, lots of things. So lots of things on both sides. So you can let go as in, I'm choosing this to bring into my life. So you've got to let go and empty that out of the glass and give it up to the universe, but also let go of all the old stuff. My mantra is let go, step up and be more. It's let go of drama, let go of the judgment, let go of all the negative head talk, that's all low level energies, like when you feel those bad emotions, they're heavy and they're dark and they're yuck. Let's go of that gossip. That's a really low energy sort of thing, right? Let go of that, step up, because you're shifting and lifting your energy, because it's the law of attraction. When you shift and lift, you're bringing in better opportunities, experiences, everything into your life. So let go of the heavy stuff, step up into the lighter stuff, and be more of you in the present moment, because that's the only thing that you can control is right now, just being you. And the more you can just be you, the authentic you don't have to do more, you just have to be more of you. And your love and light just resonates out, and people are attracted to that. Because this whole transitional earthly energy shift that we're going through, it's about not doing more, it's about being more of you, of your authentic self, your authentic energy. And people are drawn to that. It's like moths to a flame, they just go, that's so attractive. It really is. There's nothing more attractive than a confident person. You got to say, just comfortable in their own skin. People just love that, because you can feel how genuine and authentic they are.
I did see, I'm not going to remember who the person was, but they did a study in and around the idea of energy in different states. Love was obviously up there, gratitude was up there, but the top, I guess, state of a being was authenticity. And that blew my mind. I would have easily understood, but not believe, but I would have been easy to accept the idea of either gratitude or love being the number one. They rounded out the podium, but the number one was authenticity. That's surprising, but it makes sense at the same time for everything that you just mentioned.
Yeah, because you're being the pure essence of yourself. You're not pretending to be anybody else other than yourself. You're just being you, the genuine you. And that is what people are drawn to, because you can pick, phony a mile away, right? You can smell it. The energy is bad. You just go, they're dodgy, right? They're just not being themselves. They're just acting, or there's something not NQR, not quite right about them. So when you're just yourself, can you imagine how peaceful it is? You don't have to pretend to be anything. You're just comfortable in your own skin.
Yep. Okay. So all these segues, Sally, we can dive down for, we got time. But so you've been given the gift of support on your doorstep, essentially. What happens next?
So I just followed it. Amazing things just fell into my lap. I can't explain it, but then when I've gone, well, fabrics, I know nothing about them. And then I started looking at, sustainability. And so how many chemicals there are in dyeing clothes and whatever. So I chose bamboo and found this amazing company that's really ethical in Queensland. So everything just happened to be in Australia. I couldn't believe it. Even like I've got heat transfers, and then I got a graphic designer who's local and all that sort of stuff. So every part of the process so far, it's all a work in progress, and I'm learning stuff. And I only launched like 2 weeks ago, and just getting my head around Shopify, the website. The technology, everything it's just a lot. But you know what? I just encourage anybody who has a dream to just give it a go, because one thing I didn't want to do was be on my deathbed and go, I wished I'd tried that, or I should have done that. I didn't want to die with that. I thought, it's only money at the end of the day, and money's energy. So if you put the right intention behind it, let's just see. We'll watch this. This is a case study. We'll see what happens.
That's brilliant. Okay. What's been some of the lessons that you've learned in that process, launching Empowered Clothing?
I think you have to be realistic about, budgets. So ended up spending double of what I initially thought, but I also put in a budget though I wasn't going to go over. That things take time. And, originally before, when I had this first idea, I thought, oh, right, I want to get this done in 3 months. Like, that's just not realistic. And so I thought, just take the pressure off myself. When you have an idea and you just want it done yesterday. But what I have done is follow the steps properly. And I think if you're going to do something, give it your best shot and do it properly. So, and take your time and just, do your research. I think that's been a big learning for me as well.
So a lot of the, where did you find a lot of the support as far as the actual process to launch a fashion brand still in a reasonably quick time frame? It certainly sounds like you've grabbed it with both hands and run. Yeah, that's impressive.
Well, this is once again just manifested this group in Collingwood that runs a program for about $5,000 where they hold your hand from the beginning to the end to your first production run and have videos, weekly Q&As. And I think if you stay consistent and persistent and keep showing up, then you can get across the line, because we've got such a busy life, right? Focus helps you achieve things. So I do goal setting and run classes about that sort of thing, and it does help you get across the line, and accountability.
So talk to me about focus. What does focus mean for you, and what are some strategies that you implement when it comes to focus?
Yeah, focus, that's what we all need to get things done, right? So it's not getting distracted by the shiny objects all around us, having your eye on the prize. And so every day I do a to-do list and prioritize things that need to get done, because we've all got busy days and we've got busy schedules, we've got busy to-do lists. But if you keep the ones that are going to get you across the line at the top, and it's chunking things down, even like 15-minute things, or just allocating the time. But I think to have focus, you need structure. You've got to have a routine and structure to keep you accountable, keep you on track, and help you achieve.
When you speak to structure and the idea of most important tasks for a day, do you have a set sort of number? You think, all right, here's my 3 MITs for the day, or does that sort of fluctuate depending on seasons or workflow? How do you sort of address
and also
that?
my energy levels, right? Because I know, because I work out every day, I walk an hour and a half, I work out at the gym for an hour, and I know where my peak productive times are, like they're in the morning. And I also know a Monday is the best time for me, because I'm fresher from the weekend, to do the tasks where you've got to use your brain, right? By Friday afternoon, it's like, just do stuff like empty your emails or whatever, because I just know that's not my productive time. So some people work best in the morning, some people are night owls. But you got to work with your own energy, because when you're being creative as well, you can't just turn that tap on, right? You have to get into that zone. So for me, it's walking in nature. That's when I did everything. Everything came to me, all the words for the tops and everything, walking along the beach, and I would use my phone and put my notes in there. So that was a non-negotiable. I had to do that every day, because that's my creative time. That's my creative outlet.
You just hear so many instances throughout history where walking is literally the exercise, or I guess the moments where all the goodness comes to you.
Absolutely. It's nature, right? Because when you're walking, you're reducing your nervous system. Like any stress, it's actually bringing the nervous system down, settling down your stressy hormones and whatever. When you're out in nature, it's back to basics. You're grounding yourself. So you're bringing, if you've had a crazy day and you're a little bit erratic or whatever, grounding down into the earth, like connecting back into the earth. And it's anchoring you back down into this peace and calmness. And as I said, I walk and listen to stuff, and it just absolutely lifts my soul, listening to empowering podcasts or books whilst I'm being creative, writing my notes down in my phone. Oh, it's where I get all my work done. That's my gold.
That was my next question. I love taking the dogs for a walk. I think nothing else, and they just enjoy it so much. I love my dogs. They're bloody incredible. But I always listen to podcasts or something.
Yeah.
How do you find out? Do you always listen to podcasts as well? Do sometimes you don't? Does that make an impact as far as any creative thoughts or ideas coming to you with listening to podcasts?
Oh, absolutely. I always get snippets, and it happened. I started doing it years ago, listening to Joe Dispenza, because I just never had enough time at night time to read books. So that's when I signed up to Audible and started listening. And then there were so many nuggets that I wanted to do. So I either text myself or I put it in my notes. And that's where that started. That was probably 2017, so a few years ago now. But yeah. And so like today, I went for my walk, but I actually just needed some peace and quiet, because I started listening to one of my Audibles, and I thought, you know what, I actually just need stillness, no noise at all. So I had my AirPods in, but that was it. I had no noise coming in for about half an hour out of the hour and a half. I thought, no, I just need this time to regroup and reset without any extra noise coming in. And here's a fun fact about dogs. So dogs are very energetic, as you know, all animals are. But the reason dogs need to be walked is that they're like a little sponge of your energy. So when you're stressed and whatever, they're absorbing your energy. And so walking pets and dogs in particular, so that they can let out the energy, like we were just saying about walking your nervous system. So when you've had a bad day and dogs are unconditionally loving you, they're absorbing that, right? And so they need to walk that out. That's a fun fact.
Wow, that's wild. I would never have thought that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's the loyal dogs for you.
So we slammed the door on about 16 different segues.
Oh, yeah.
What's the most exciting segue that we sort of put a stop to?
I don't know. I think it's just about, this whole conversation has been about energy, and just realizing that everything around us is energy. We're all energy, and it's just working with it. So, because we all know when we feel good and when we feel bad, when we've got good vibes or bad vibes, the vibe is the energy, and it's just when you get anxious, when you've got a lot of work to do, or when you're feeling stressed and your body gets tightened, that's all energy working within your body. So I'm a big one around working with the body, because the body is sort of like the communicator of what's going on. So I like to say that listen to your body, because it's got something to say. So when we've got niggles or aches or pains or things happen, that's the soul trying to get through and say, hey, stop, wake up. When you're stressed and your shoulders are tight or whatever, and the body's like screaming at you, give me a break. Let's get some stress out of here. Let's do something that can calm me down, bring some peace in. When you've got, backaches, and it's particularly lower back, it's speaking to you, saying you're feeling unsupported, particularly around your finances. So there's lots and lots of tools and techniques to help listen to your body and to get you in a better place.
How did you first stumble into this world, Sally?
Well, I'm a bit of a Pollyanna, which would mean nothing to you, but it just means that I try to find the positives out of every situation, because there is always something positively taken out of anything, even seemingly negative. Like for me, it was a divorce, but it was my way of coping with myself, having 4 young kids, going, oh my God, and trying to keep my shit together, so to speak. And it was just go down this rabbit hole of what can make me feel better. So it was going down the Louise Hay, the Oprahs, the Joe Dispenzas, because it helped me get through challenging times.
Yeah. Okay. I really love the idea of energy, and even something I'm playing with at the moment with myself is, intermittent fasting, maybe on a Saturday for sort of 36 hours.
Yeah.
The idea of not having any carbs until perhaps the afternoon or evening. So focusing on proteins and fats, skipping breakfast, all that sort of stuff. I'm actually coming off the back end. I had probably 2 to 3 weeks of just a really shit period. I don't even know why. But what I took from it was I was a lot more conscious about what was actually happening, and I was a lot more accepting of it. So instead of trying to beat myself up and whatever else, I just sort of said, I said to myself, this is fine. This is just a little period. And I just said to myself, what are the minimums that you have to do every day? And just make sure you do that, and just give yourself a break.
Oh, that is so music to my ears, Nathan. It's fantastic, because you can't change what you don't know. So the first step is having that awareness of what's going on, or realizing that you're out of sorts, and then stopping and pausing and accepting it is what it is, and just getting through it. And then the gratitude as well. So when you team all three, it's amazing, but it's you have to have that conscious awakening, right? So you have to have that consciousness of like, oh, shit is going on here and it doesn't feel great. And so then you can take it from there and shift your mindset around it, because everything can be perceived in a positive or a negative. It's just as simple as that. So once you have that consciousness of saying, oh my God, this is just a shitty time, just accept it is what it is. Because I like to say, every day we get up, all I know, it's a day ending in Y. It's the only known that I know that's going to come at me today, right? And so just have to go with it and realize when I'm starting to spiral down, stop, pause, and see what I can do to get out of that rut or out of that feeling. Because once again, it's the energy, right? It's like, oh, that shitty feeling that you're just talking about. It's not cool. It's like not cool.
I didn't quite have the gratitude down pat in that period. Yeah, that was the one thing I was missing, but I certainly had, I was certainly grateful afterwards that I was aware of it and handled it pretty well.
Yeah.
I think what it ended up being was, I think sleep kick-started it. I think I had probably 2 weeks of just shit sleep, maybe 6 hours a night. And then once you're on that sort of decline, then, at least for me, the discipline sort of falls away, and it's just a tough. So, but once, as I said, once I sort of realized where I was, went, all right, cool, it is what it is, and then just accepted it. But then I got to a point where I finally realized, like the fool that I sometimes am, I was like, it's sleep, just get better sleep.
Yeah.
And I think I literally had, I think it was literally 2 nights of an 8-hour sleep, and then I was
Good
a world away. It was brilliant. So back on the up. Yeah,
it's people don't realize how sleep dictates your days, right? And it's just that foggy feeling, and you're just trying to get through, and it's horrible. It's hard. So it's great that you realized that it was sleep, because then you could action around that.
So what do you consider, because you've had such a varied, successful, many paths so far, what do you consider your either the biggest win? Yeah, we'll start there. What's your biggest win so far, Sally?
I think just launching this clothing was a big win, because I had the balls to do something completely out of my comfort zone that I knew nothing about, and I just followed the energy. Like, man, to have that trust, believe and allow sort of thing that we were talking about, like, let's just give it a go. It's taken me this long in my life to have the confidence and the courage to do something out of my comfort zone.
That's so good. And I guess on the flip side of that, what do you consider your biggest lesson so far?
Yeah, good one. Biggest lessons. I don't know. Everything costs a lot of money, right? And trying to do too many things at once, that can get expensive and exhausting. I think it's more the exhaustion than the money. It's just you're pulled in too many things. And that's what I was talking about with focus, because I have my finger in so many pies. Like, my toolbox is enormous, but I've run myself into the ground over the years just trying to do too many things for too many people. And I'm an empowered empath. Once I had that awareness, I started to put up some boundaries. But before then, I was yes lady, the people pleaser, doormat.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess just in line with that, have you got any routines that help you as far as your energy? Have you got any sort of routines, whether they're morning routines or whatever seems to work for yourself, that you sort of do on a daily?
Yeah, I have a really structured diary, and every single day is different, but I always schedule in my walks, and that's a non-negotiable. I think having non-negotiables, I have non-negotiable workout times, I have non-negotiable walk times, I have non-negotiable down times, if you like, as well. And that might be no clients after 8 o'clock type of thing. Like, I still could be working, but And I also realizing how I work. So like as I was saying, Monday morning, I got a lot more energy than Friday afternoon. So making my diary work around my energy levels as well.
And was that?
Sorry, go on.
No, you're right. Go on.
I was just going to say, and it's important to have regular breaks. I always say to my clients, at least every 3 months, have a getaway. Even, every 6 weeks or something, an Airbnb, or just break the energy up, break the cycle of the routine. Super important.
Have you played around the Pomodoro technique? I probably butchered that pronunciation.
Yeah. What's that one again? Remind me. I know it.
I believe it's 25-minute work and then 5-minute break. Is one version of it.
Yeah, no, yes, I do that with some planning sessions actually with the clothing group. So yeah, and they're quite good. We do them. We've got one this Saturday, I think, actually. And yeah, 25 minutes, then 5 minutes, then 25, and it gets stuff done. I mean, I think you just got to, have this awareness of how you work best as well. So, no distractions, the phone, emails, bing, bing, bing. It's hard. We have to be really, structured and focused and disciplined. It's hard.
I've got a bit of a man crush at the moment on Andrew Huberman. So I'm not sure if you stumbled on him. He's a neurologist, and he just dived down, I guess, the science into a lot of things. And he was speaking about exactly what you just brought up, this idea or notion or feeling that we have to check our phones. And I can't remember the actual, terminology or scientific names for it, but let's say it was a no something and then yes something. But these neural things in our brain, every time we go to pick up our phone, it actually weakens us, weakens our discipline. But every time you say no, on the flip side, it slowly strengthens and restores it. So he said it cannot be underestimated how powerful and strong and beneficial it is to just not pick up your bloody phone.
Yeah, but it's that dopamine hit, right? And so, and it's rewiring the neural pathways in your brain. So it's breaking old patterns. So it takes 21 to 28 days to break a pattern. So you're rewiring those neural pathways where it's okay to look at your phone and not pick it up. Do you know what I mean? And let that go. So I have this routine in the morning where I have my phone by my bed for the alarm, but because you really shouldn't have it in your bedroom, but it's just practical, right? But I don't look at anything for half an hour after I get up. So I turn it off, because your creative juices are flowing in the morning before you go and break that energy cycle. Get in the shower and just think about one creative thing for the day, or whatever's around your project or whatever you're working on, before you go back and then start checking your phone, because then you get into that whole male energy of routine and structure and bills and getting into that negative. It is more negative energy anyway when you're looking into emails. So the more that you can break the pattern of just the first thing you do is looking at your phone and looking at Facebook or TikTok or whatever, just allow yourself that freedom to just get up and just, because water's really clearing. It's another great thing to do with energy, and just let stuff wash away. Let your creative juices flow. Just be really creative in the shower, and then you can get into your checking your phone, your laptop, whatever.
You mess around with cold showers?
I used to do cold baths and all that sort of stuff, and the ice bath, and hardcore. But it's really good. It is great for muscle recovery and all that sort of stuff. But yeah.
It's rough. I went through recently. I think I got up to I think it was 40 odd days, and it was sort of halfway into winter, so it was good. But then I just got to a stage I was like, I'm just not enjoying this. I just love, I genuinely enjoy warm showers at the start of the day, and especially at night. So I've actually gone back into them recently. But I certainly look forward to my warm shower at night, that's for sure.
I'm too old for all that stuff. I stick with the warm now. I'm not a cold person, but I've done all that sort of stuff. And there's lots of merit in it, right? I was actually in Thailand a month ago on a wellness retreat, and they were doing the cold baths, and even outside was like 35 degrees or something. I thought, I can't be bothered with that. Give me the sauna any day. So I was in the steamer and the sauna.
Nice. there's so much. One thing I'm so grateful for at the moment, being in this moment in time, right, is the access to information because of the internet. Like I don't think a lot of people genuinely grasp how profound that is. It's everything. It is everything.
Changer. It's a game changer. 100%. I was only talking to someone the other day, like, what am I? I'm 55. And when we went to school, we had to go to the library to get the encyclopedias to learn anything. And then they were all so old and out of date. And now you can Google stuff, and Dr. Google is amazing. And now I'm right into ChatGPT. I love it. It's a game changer again for me for writing blogs and stuff. But technology, and once again, you've got to use it for the positives, not the negatives, obviously. So and just be respectful.
Respect to what I heard her saying. It was make sure you use technology, otherwise technology will use you.
But good one. Yeah, getting in the driver's seat, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
I still remember I think I can't remember. So the internet. So what am I? 39 now. I remember we got the internet at home. I think it was about 14 or 15, and that was the old dial-ups. If you know, that was incredible. And I used to like sneak downstairs like at night. Mum and Dad were in bed, and you'd have the dial-up so loud as well.
So loud, yeah. As it connecting, yeah.
And then I'd try and strategically cough in and around the dial-up tone so they wouldn't know. Fool. Of course they knew.
Yeah.
So have you got, I guess, especially, everything you've done, everything you're doing, do you have people or a business support crew who you do sort of lean on at different times?
Absolutely. I would encourage everybody to find a community of like-minded people. That what's the saying? Oh, there's a, I don't know, quote or whatever. You become the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So particularly since COVID, and particularly because I'm working with energy, I'm very sensitive to people, right? And so I put up very strict boundaries about who I spend my time and energy with, because that's something I can control. So I hang out with like-minded people. I'm in energy groups. I'm in supportive community groups where I like to say English is my second language, because the conversations that I'm having with you is like my first language. It's talking with like-minded people on like-minded topics. So supporting each other, growing. I'm all into deeper healing and personal growth. And so life's too short, and I just don't want to be flippant and superficial. I just want to have a bit of depth with the people that I hang out with.
Yeah. I'm probably 1 foot into the world of personal development and self-healing or that sort of stuff. So I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying the self-discovery and the recent understanding that when I get triggered by someone or something, that's actually a gift, because they are the catalyst and I guess the magnifying glass for me to explore what exactly is it that I'm triggered by and why, and how that sort of I guess scales out to everything that I do. So a foot in, Sally, but it's
But Nathan, just like it's all about the journey. It's not the destination, and so often it's other people projecting their shit onto you. So, I just encourage everybody to do it, because it brings you deeper peace, deeper contentment, alignment, because you let stuff go. You don't worry about the stuff you used to worry about. Once you just keep doing it, because it's your life. And the more you can understand who you are as a person, who you're choosing to be, it's so empowering.
Yes. Talk to me about the idea of masculine and feminine energies, because I was given a piece of advice by someone very close to me, and she said, "You've got the male energy down pat." She goes, "You've nailed it. You don't have a lot. Everyone loves you. You've got that down pat." She said, "You need to work on your feminine energy to be able to hold space for where that's valid and needed." She said that's your area that you can definitely improve on. and she nailed it. She's exactly right. But again, very early to the game, I guess, in that sense. So talking about your understandings and
Okay.
a bit more about masculine and feminine energies.
So we've got masculine and feminine energy just all around us, and it's quite simple once you get your head around it. The male energy is about it's your finances, it's career, it's bring a basic survival, roof over your head. So it's the workhorse stuff. It's like it's survival mode, whereas the female energy is more thriving. It's the nurturing. It's the male energy is relationship to males. Female energy is relationship to females. It's that nurturing. It's that inner knowing. It's that intuition. It's that inside stuff, and it's the nurturing. So, we need both energies. We need both, but having a balance of both of them is really important as well. So, I mean, you can pick someone who's really, and they can be male or female. It doesn't mean your sex is male or female with that energy. You can, it's best to have a blend of both of them, but you can pick the nurturers, those that are really very intuitive, guided by their gut, have that internal knowing, that sensing, and it's that caring, and it's the mothering sort of energy, as opposed to workhorse and career, get this, pay the bill, earn the money, commute. And it's we like to say the male energy is more of that survival mode stuff of like what we need to do. It's very much work, career, and finances, and as opposed to the softer energy of the female one. So can you tap into the female energy in yourself? I mean, I think you're quite a caring person, so it's just bringing more of that nurturing Nathan out, eh?
I certainly think so, and it's more along the idea of genuine vulnerability as well. And I heard a really good definition that resonated for me around what vulnerability is.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of Brené Brown. Sorry.
Yeah.
She was brilliant.
Her stuff's great.
And she said something to the effect of real vulnerability is putting yourself out there, knowing that you cannot control the outcome.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. The power of vulnerability. And there's resilience and there's vulnerability. And now vulnerability is a strength. It's an absolute strength because you're giving yourself out to the unknown. And that's like what I was talking about with the clothing, just giving an idea, giving it some airplay, right? And so not knowing the outcome. And this is where, when you live in the present moment, you allow yourself to be more vulnerable, to not know what's going to happen in the next step or, tomorrow, and allowing that to be okay with it, following the energy.
Ellie, what brings you happiness?
Oh, it's back to basics. It's being out in nature. It's hanging out with like-minded people, hanging out with my family, having a big hug and having a huge amount of laughing, fun and happiness. Just amazing. That's what it's all about. Life's too short, right? Let all this other stuff go. And we know coming through COVID how crap it can be. So let's just step into the lighter side of life and enjoy it. Not here for a long time. We're here for a good time, baby.
Exactly. My Melbourne was rough. My brother lives in Melbourne. Shout out to the doc. But he really struggled. He's a psychiatrist, and he was telling me that the irony of it, right? Someone that his profession is with helping people and their own issues, and he was like, look, even though I've got all the tools, that doesn't help anyone. He goes, it's really, really impacted him. So I'm certainly glad and grateful that chapter is over because it was rough.
Yeah. And that was a bad vibe, I tell you, because I was walking around the town every day and it was just a bad vibe. There were so many police on horses, on motorbikes, on push bikes, it was just hideous. There was the defense force and just nobody was smiling. They were fighting everyone if you didn't have a mask on. I mean, it was just a very feral vibe. It was just yuck.
Yeah. The importance of community, right? Community was probably the one thing that's what it come down to. Community was taken away. And I think we saw the effects of that more than anything.
You know, my kids went through year 12. It was hard. Uni, and they're, you know, not socialized. It's just, it was really, really tough.
Here's a question for you. It's one of my favorite questions, actually. And I need to find out where I found this. I'll just type it into Google. I'm sure it'll give me the answer. Yeah. It may have been Tim Ferriss. It may not have been. But the question goes a little something like this. Sally, what is one thing you wish you knew before starting your business?
Yeah.
That you know now?
Overall, with my business, since running it for years, is just, you know, just have more confidence and courage, because I've doubted myself too much about things, and it's taken me up till now, 12 years later, to have the confidence and courage. And I think, oh, imagine what I could have done if I had more confidence in myself earlier on. Yeah, how things could have panned out a bit differently.
You're certainly not alone with that. I think it affects most people, if not all. Some to lesser degrees, but that just comes down to, you know, the environment they're in, I guess. But why do you think that is, for something that's so common across the bloody globe? Says the guy that's only been to a handful of places, but it certainly does seem like a universal thing. Why do you think people have to work to develop their own confidence and courage to go and do things?
Because we've got so many opinions around us, and we take on people's judgments, their opinions, their criticisms, and it batters our confidence and courage. Look at kids. Look at them when they're so, like, you know, they're just not a worry in the world. You see them in the park, and they're you know, they're trying out new things. They've got the courage and they've got the confidence to give things a go. But then, you know, life just batters us down with limiting beliefs and judgments, opinions, criticisms. And like, we're scared to do anything because we might get in trouble, because it's all the stuff that we grew up with. So if we can change the programming around us, you know, the conditioning, it will change everybody's courage and confidence. And I think as you get older, you let stuff go. You think, oh, I can't be bothered with that anymore. You just, that doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
It's almost, well, at least for me, it's like the veil is lifted and you suddenly realize that things that you deem to be of importance hold no importance at all.
Exactly. And I think that's exactly what COVID helped us realize, that it wasn't going out to the dinners and all the flashy cars and all the money spending stuff. It was the quality times that we missed. And so when you go, well, what is really important at the end of the day? If you heard of the catastrophe scale, right? So my kids had it at school. You've got a scale from 1 to 10. And, you know, if the dog ate your homework, to kids, that was a big deal. But where does it really sit on the catastrophe scale? If someone in your family died, that's right at the top. But your dog dying is up at the top, but dog eating your homework is not as bad as that, right? So when you can put things into perspective and let the littler things go, then you just don't worry and just go, yeah, it doesn't matter. And it gives you the confidence and courage to step up with your big boy undies, pull them up and just give it a go.
Yeah, it's funny. I would put the schooling system pretty low on that catastrophe scale, let alone the dog eating the homework inside of that body. But there you go. So that's another 3-hour conversation there, Sally, I think.
So many.
Yeah. You got any favorite books?
Oh man, well, you know that I love listening and reading books all the time. I don't know. It's just, there's so many. Joe Dispenza's were really sort of big changes for me, and there's so many of those ones. But you know, when I was 21, I can't even pronounce it, but the Bhagavad Gita, I mean, that was a hardcore book to read, and I was only 21 when I read it, but that was kind of life-changing. The Celestine Prophecy, there's just so many that but all my books are around sort of deeper personal growth and healing and understanding myself better.
What? So can you say that again for me? The Bhagavad Gita, was it?
Yeah, Bhagavad Gita, Gita.
Gita. I'm just writing that down. And what was that about? Because that sounds like that had a pretty profound effect at such a young age.
Yeah, here we go. Have you got it?
I've just written down on my notes, but I can.
It's an Indian thing, and it's all about, well, it's sort of like the meaning of life and all the philosophies and things. It was a hardcore read, but it was pretty profoundly changing, life-changing for me.
There we go. There we go. I've got it. Bhagavad. I destroyed that spelling. Nowhere near. Actually, it was.
B-A-G-A-V-A-D or something.
I wasn't too. I missed the H. Look, I wasn't too far off. There we go.
Unlock the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. There you go. Timeless wisdom. That's how you can sum it up.
Perfect. Often referred to as the Gita, as a 700-verse Hindu scripture, which is part of the epic Mahabharata. It forms the chapters 20. I've butchered that name, haven't I? Forms a chapter 23 to 40 of book 6 of the Mahabharata, called the Bhishma Parva. Okay. Brilliant. I'll certainly be having a little exploration of that. So thank you very much. Joe Dispenza comes to mind. I guess, what's your favorite stuff that he, I guess, has put forward into the world?
What I think he is brilliant at is his meditations, where he can take you into the quantum realm. Now, the quantum realm is a space where there's no time, there's no place, there's nothing, there's just darkness. And I've been meditating for years, but he was a guy that, where he can, because I'm into frequencies, right, where he can align, get you into the frequency where it enables you or allows you to just let go, just to be in the moment. And when you get there, oh my God, it's like having sex with your brain. It just goes off, right? But it's just, it goes, it's hard to explain it, but it takes you into a whole other level of being. And that's where you can just be the pure essence of yourself. And it's just hard to explain until you've got into that zone, but it's a whole other level. If you get a chance, do his online course and then go to his advanced retreat. He has them in, they sell out in like 10 minutes. He's done some every year as well. He's just started coming back after COVID, but I went to Mexico because I couldn't get in. So they do sell out really quickly. But if you want to experience pure letting go, and when he does it, because you're in with like 2,000 other people, so the energy in the room, it's hard to explain, but it just is a whole other level of awesomeness. And he has people that come in for healings, and everyone forms circles around, and miraculous things happen. Like, there was a guy that was there when I was there. He'd broken his back in about 3 places from skydiving or something, and he got up after the healing and he was walking. Like, it's that powerful energy. Just amazing.
Wow. That is interesting. That is interesting, because look, I certainly look, the little that I know, I genuinely believe that there is a natural cure for every single ailment, every single disease. There would be a some sort of natural healant, I guess, in the world somewhere, even of which we haven't found yet. So, and that just ties into the idea of balance, right?
Yes. So, like, as we've been saying all today, everything is energy. So Louise Hay and Ina Segal, who's an Aussie actually, this is all about every ailment, how it is linking to an underlying emotion. So all illness, sickness, whatever, is linking into an emotion. And remember, I was saying before, you listen to your body because it's got something to say, and it's going to start screaming at you until you stop and listen, to the point, like, you break a bone and you go, oh, well, that was an accident, but actually, things happen. So I do my healing work in the quantum realm, and it's all modern science, proven physics, all that sort of stuff. But healing happens so much quicker because we're in the physical world. Like, if you break a bone, it's 6 weeks, then 3 months, 6 months. It takes a long time. But when you're actually working in the quantum realm, things can happen a lot quicker. It's amazing. So when you're working with energy rather than the physical, it's just a lot quicker for transformation and change.
I am quite enjoying watching science now prove a lot of the quantum theories and teachings that have been around for centuries. We've now got science is actually, I guess, caught up to a degree. It's been quite interesting watching how that initially was almost dismissed, but now it's just like an everyday acceptance, like, oh yeah, that just is. Now, it's quite rare that the every man and woman in the street would know anything. I know nothing about the quantum world, but the fact that science is proving as we go along, it's quite entertaining to watch and sort of witness as well.
I really love that you were so open and going down this rabbit hole of discovery, because the work I'm working in the ancient Egyptian healing system using a Bukra energy. And, this is, the Egyptians were doing this way back then, over the centuries and whatever, things have got tainted, have been, manipulated. All of this stuff was existing thousands of years ago, right? So I was talking about the 13 chakra systems. They, for example, the 13 chakras as opposed to the 7, they're equated to a keyboard. So with white keys and black keys, but over the time, the black keys were taken away. So we only knew about the 7 white keys, for example. And so, when you start peeling the layers off and looking into it, all this stuff, it's all proven, it's all there, it's been around like forever, but with different circumstances, things get covered up.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? We see it time and time again.
Yeah.
It's like, yep. Who's telling the story? Where's their merit, and what do they want the narrative to be?
What are they getting out of it? Yeah.
Yeah, show me the incentive, I'll show you the behavior.
Oh, you're giving me goosebumps, because Nathan, this is exactly what I've been doing for the last, 10 plus years, and just going down, because finding it out for myself, doing the research yourself. Yes, technology is there, but then you can just keep going and keep going. And it's an exciting journey, baby.
It is. There's a gentleman I stumbled across on YouTube. Again, he just resonated for me because he seemed to have a peculiar mix of that masculine energy, but aligned with some real heavy feminine energy at the same time, whilst also being wildly articulate, and his words just flow, and he's literally mesmerizing. He's a gentleman by the name of Peter Crone. He throws some jokes in that don't always land, but that just adds to his, I guess, likability to a degree, at least for me. Yeah. But he, I saw an episode where he spoke with another gentleman by the name of Kerwin Ray, who was really big, masculine energy, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they sort of dove into a little bit of Kerwin's backstory. And at the time, Kerwin had these inflamed eyes, and he had these swollen eyes, and they happened to go down that. And Peter said, "Are you okay for us to explore this?" Kerwin said, "Yep, 100%." And Peter said, "Look, I can already tell that you're definitely you're a pitter." Information, all that sort of stuff that you know of much more than myself. But then they explored a couple of different ideas in and around, Kerwin's emotional state, and a couple of things that had happened in his childhood, and they brought that back. And then the punchline was literally almost immediately some of the redness and swollen things in his eyes actually dissipated and calmed down. You fast forward to the next morning, they actually got it on camera, and they met at breakfast, and it was like 80% gone.
Wow.
And it had been, he's on medicines. It was so intriguing. It was so intriguing. So I'm definitely excited to. My problem, Sally, is I get too excited, and I've got about 4 books on the go at once.
I know. And then, stay focused and not get caught up with the shiny objects, shiny object syndrome or whatever.
Yep.
Because it's fascinating, and you start peeling back the layers and go further and further down. But just explore and just find out for yourself and see what feels right, and just go down that line.
I do love the finding out about yourself. People have such a tough time as far as needing to find or put everything into a box in an attempt to understand it. Not just a box for them. They want to put everyone and everything in the same box.
Yeah.
And that's just not how it works. You see the same thing with diets. People are like, oh, it's this diet, it's that diet. It's actually not. It's what works for you. Try a bunch of shit, and what works best for you, stick to that.
100%, because everybody's different. Everybody's body is different. And I always encourage, and particularly as a personal trainer, I say to people, listen to your body, see what works for you, see what aligns, because what works for you is not going to work for me probably. And, you know, you're talking about the fasting, and I've tried it all on myself, because I don't recommend unless I try it myself. But at the end of the day, you know, eating good, wholesome food, and listening to your body and understanding what works for you and what doesn't, you know, so it's the only way to go.
Have you ever explored, I'm really intrigued by it, the idea, I don't know what they do DNA tests and whatever else, but then the idea is that they can recommend types of food, nutrients, diet based on your DNA and generational sort of history.
Oh, absolutely. I've got shelves of books, you know, at my gym. You know, they had the blood type diet, you know, whatever your blood type was. There's all different sorts. And I personally think there is something in those sort of things. And
well, it makes sense.
Yeah. Because we've got different blood types, right? And I mean, I'm an O, and I think I'm supposed to eat meat. And I went vegan for a long time, and it wasn't right for my body, you know. So there is definitely, but you know when something feels right. And that's what I was saying earlier. The more you get to understand yourself on every level, on your mind, your body, and your soul, so how you think and how you feel and how you act, then you can get more into the driver's seat of your own life, because you're going, yeah, that doesn't feel right for me. So, you know, it might be onions, and you might get tummy, or gluten, or whatever, or sugar, feel yuck. So it's getting that deeper connection with yourself.
One of the most practical parts of this that for me so far, outside of the linkage of physiology and the way, you know, you feel, I guess, and if you feel in a bit of a slump, then work your body, and odds are you'll feel at least better. Outside of that, and the link there, is definitely the separation, or more to the accepting that your emotions are your emotions, but you're not your emotions, and your emotions shouldn't, nor do they dictate what behavior should be. You can separate your behaviors and your emotions, and just because you feel like shit doesn't mean you can't do good things. Once you have that and accept and understand that separation of emotions to behavior, then life just gets easier, because you can do the things that will bring about the positive results, even when you feel like shit.
I love it. And you were very strong about that. So
yeah,
the more that we can realize that we don't want to hang on to emotions, and because they get stuck in our system and they add drama, they create stories around them. So emotions come and go, and we just have to allow emotions to just flow through us, right? So for example, not that you're a chick, but PMT, right? So you just have hormonal days where you just feel shit and you just want to take someone's head off and whatever, and just you write that day off and just work around it. But like you were saying, it's just, we've got all these emotions every day. We've got emotions flowing through us, and, you know, don't hang on to them, you know, hanging on and not forgiving people, right? And it manifests within your body. And that's where illness manifests, stored emotions that particularly the negative ones that we haven't released, and they just grow and grow, and then they pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard a cool analogy when the insert the animal, I can't remember the animal they use, let's say a zebra, for example. When the zebra escapes the clutches of a lion, it literally shakes its body. It shakes its body, goes through this routine of, and it's shaking off the anxiety. It's getting rid of all that internal energy.
Yeah.
And then it goes on along its day like nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's still aware of the danger, but it doesn't go and hide and mope and think, oh, I nearly got eaten. Yeah. But it has to go through that process of shaking all that energy out.
And that links back to what we're talking about, walking in nature to release the stress from your own system, and also walking dogs, because releasing that pent up whatever they've taken on from you or their owners, right? Or whatever's been going on, letting it out.
I'm going to take my dogs on a nighttime walk tonight, Sally. You've just bloody inspired me.
They'll love it by the time we finish.
Maybe, perhaps. So there is so many places that people can start, right? And I'm, as I said, I'm 1 foot in the door, and I'm really enjoying it. I guess if there was just one thing, that people could implement today that would bring about the biggest change for them, what would you recommend?
Well, first of all, you've got to make that commitment to yourself that you want to change, right? Because it's words are, empty words unless there's some action. So making that commitment to yourself is really important, that, yep, I'm ready to change. And it's just little, simple, small steps. It's just do one little thing, just one little tweak can have a monumental impact down the track. So it's just making that commitment to yourself. Yes, I'm ready to bring some changes into my life, and I'm going to actually take that first step. Like when I ran my gym and I had a lot of steps to get to the top of the steps. And I said to everyone, that's the hardest thing you'll ever do, is coming up those steps. After there, it gets easier because you've made that commitment to yourself. You've taken the first steps, and then the rest, it's easier. It's just getting started. Like, when you're trying to change behaviors, it's hard. Getting that mindset, right, that's it, draw the line in the sand. Today's it. I'm going to just change a little thing. It might, around your diet, it might be something as simple as that.
You've got clarity on that shirt that you're wearing, the top that you're wearing?
Yes, clarity. This is third eye. So seeing through your third eye with clarity, focus, and purpose, right? Because it's just, I'm very clear about what I'm wanting. I've got the focus, and I'm driven with purpose and wanting some meaning and direction in my life.
EFP.
Yeah, that's a good one. I hadn't thought of that one. Yeah, love it.
I like that. I had about 8 things in my head. There we go. There's one. Have you had, because I won't assume, have you had any mentors and or coaches so far in your journey? And if so, I don't know if I'll put the pressure of picking your favorite, but maybe some favorites if that's too difficult a task.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, oh man, I studied counseling myself, because when I was doing the gym, people were coming with, life challenges, if you like, divorce and, mental health and depression and that sort of thing. And I thought, I'm not really qualified for this. So I went down that whole line, but I think I wrote down here before. So with the work that I do now, I've been working with wellness coaches for probably 7 years, I think. And now with the quantum activator coaches and community there, it's, a whole other level once you start working in the quantum realm. It's just like, there's lots of people around, but it's just finding people that are like-minded and you can have these deeper conversations with.
Should we explore the quantum world a little bit?
Yeah, sorry, what was that?
Should we explore the quantum world a little bit?
Well, it's just that dark space where there is no time, there's no space, there's no nothing. And I always encourage people just to enter into that through Joe Dispenza's books and things, because he describes it very well. He describes all the science behind it. And so it's not woo-woo. It's just not. It's all proven there. It's just this dark space where it's like when you're in bed at nighttime and it's this dark, right? You can't see anything, but you can feel. And it's just this amazing vibe of when you let go. It's like being in a warm bath. Just like in this dark space. It's incredible. But as I was saying before, when you work in that realm, things happen very quickly, because it doesn't have the physical matter, like in a physical form. It's just the space. So things can happen like that. So
Joe Dispenza's books are perhaps the first sort of doorway to walk through.
Yeah, he's got so many: overcoming the habit of being yourself, becoming supernatural. I can't think, the placebo effect. It's just a good introduction, and he does have free downloadable morning and evening meditations. He's just updated them. I mean, not that I'm just pushing Joe Dispenza, it's just as an entry point for someone wanting to understand it. He's got lots of stuff on his website. He has free online courses, not free, but cheaper online courses that introduce you to it if it's something different that you'd like to understand more. And I just think he presents it well in his books.
Oh, look, I'm a big fan of efficiencies as well. So, if the idea of things happening quicker, although obviously the wrong way to look at it, and it's come across not what I intended, but I think it would be foolish of me not to explore it much deeper.
Yeah, there's lots of info out there, and offline I'm happy to give you lots of people that you can follow up on and whatever. But it's just you know it, you can feel it, you can sense it, that there's more to life than what we know, or there's just a greater energy there, that the universe, like we were talking vibes, right? You just feel
Yeah.
so that has to come
Yes.
from somewhere.
Yeah. It's have you seen or got the feeling that the idea of gut instinct is just starting to get its moment again? It's starting to become it's just becoming verbalized a lot more of late, which is brilliant and bang on, and as it should be.
Yeah, and that's how I live my life. I trust my gut. And yeah, I think it's becoming more normalized. I think, like I know I keep saying, but since COVID, people have really got more of an open mind to things, because it's just, you know it, you sense it, you can feel it. It's like when you're driving along and for some reason this voice in your head says turn left, and you go, well, that doesn't make any sense. Then you turn left, but then you find out that there was a car accident down the track. It's just, that's what the gut
Yes.
is.
Yes.
It's your internal GPS.
Yep. Yep. What are you? Have you? I wouldn't say I've followed more. Happened across some different content, whatever else. Uh, have you seen much of Jim Carrey's, I guess, journey away from the Hollywood scene?
Yeah, it's just quite interesting, right? I like his memes or whatever you put up there, and yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah, there's lots of,
Yeah.
when you start looking, you start finding them, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, lots of people around.
He did an interview, which was either hilarious or profound. It depends on how you look at it. Perhaps a little bit of a marriage of the two. But someone asked me my thoughts, and it was basically just made a mockery of the entire awards celebration ceremony, and raised the question of who is Jim Carrey, and gave a bit of a spiel around that. And after it was shown to me, someone said, "Oh, what do you think of this?" I said, I think he's simply changed what he values, and this event which he once valued now means nothing to him, and he probably sees not just the hypocrisy but the humor in it, and he's just saying what he thinks and feels."
Well, you've got to look at people's bigger purpose. Is it about becoming rich and famous, or is it about changing people's lives, reaching more people with a real message, or is it about lightening people's lives up with a bit of humor? It's just what drives people. So I think you got to come back to their why.
This is a pretty good segue, you wouldn't have known this prior, Sally. I think it half got brought up. The last person to come on the show was someone that you know quite well, Misty Henkel. So Misty's actually left. We've got a tradition here as well as the two truths and a lie, which I butchered. That was my worst performance so far. So
Love it.
Nailed it. Yeah. So we've got a tradition which I unashamedly stole from another podcast called Diary of a CEO, with a gentleman by the name of Stephen Bartlett. So he has a tradition which I've stolen because it's brilliant. Yep. So each guest has the opportunity to leave a question, anything they like, for the next guest. And of course, they have no idea who that's going to be. So Misty, your friend, has left the question, and she had no idea it was going to be yourself either, obviously.
Yeah.
The question Misty's left is simply, how many people would you like to help?
Okay, so as many people who would like to wake up. And so what I mean by that is people who are ready for change and just need some support doing it, getting across that bridge from the pain to the pleasure island. Because you can't help someone if all I'm doing is assisting somebody's own healing journey, right? Or self-development journey. They do the work, I just assist them. And there's no point helping someone if they're not ready for it, or they're not choosing it. So you have to come up with a choice.
Yeah, you can't, right?
It's just like banging your head against a brick wall.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take it back to the clothing line. Empowered clothing. Who is empowered clothing for?
Okay, it's workout wear for women committed to their well-being. It's long story short, as I said, it was about for walking out in nature and workshopping life with your friends. But I thought, as we are aging gracefully, so 40s, 50s, 60s plus, we've got this amazing amount of wisdom inside of us. You know, we've lived a life, we've got lots of experiences, we've overcome lots of challenges, but, you know, we're becoming more and more invisible. You know, we're not the head turners or anything like that, but we've got this amazing internal wisdom. And I just wanted to illuminate the greatness of women, particularly as they're aging and, you know, stepping more into their power, into the driver's seat of their own energy and taking greater control and responsibility for their own energy and their lives. So it's particularly it's obviously any woman, but particularly 40s, 50s, 60s, where they just want to dress with intent, because it's conscious clothing. It's where you're getting dressed more meaningfully per day, you know, so putting on clothes that are practical, but also have a spiritual alignment with them.
I love everything about that.
Yeah, me too. That's why I came up with it. But made in Australia, ethically manufactured, sustainably sourced fabric, you know, boosting our own economy in the backyard here, getting it, not here literally, but, you know, and, you know, the bamboo is amazing because it's got this moisture wicking, it doesn't get smelly, it's got antimicrobial properties, it feels luxe, it's stylish in a minute, it's high vibe clothing, and it's easy wash and easy wear. So each top comes with a little crystal that you can carry in the side of it, so you can amplify the properties of your top. And each top comes with a postcard explaining how to get the most out of it, what the third eye chakra represents, and, you know, for example, or the crystal sodalite goes with this and what the properties around that. So, you know, and what empowered clothing is all about. So, you know, it was just something that popped into my consciousness, and I thought, well, why not? You know, the world is ready for taking it up a notch and being more consciously aware, and why not be consciously aware of our clothing?
I love that. You've also got a journal, a wellness journal. Do you want to take us through that?
Sure. So when I came back from Joe Dispenza back in 2017 from his week-long advanced retreat, I thought, look, I've got clients that know a little bit about mindfulness and wellness and well-being. And so I put together a journal. So that was, 7 years ago or something. And that was a little A4 one, a 30-day journal to self-guide your mind. And so now I've revamped it into an A4 one and sort of updated it. So it's a 30-day journal where every day, and it's very comprehensive, but every day you can just do it. You start with a self-assessment. It's got a glossary explaining stuff, but you check in with yourself. You know, where am I sitting? Doing some affirmations. You're doing what are you grateful for? Positivity exercises, rating yourself. How happy am I feeling today? There's so much in it. Plus there's blank pages for literally journaling down your thoughts, because when you bring things up and out, you're bringing the energy up and you're amplifying your energy by writing it down. So important. You can doodle, all that sort of stuff. So it's a really comprehensive wellness mindset journal, which, really, really powerful. As I said, you know, it's creating new habits over 21 to 28 days. So imagine what little changes you can make over a month of filling that in.
I'm brilliant. I had a little look at that online. I'm going to buy one myself because it looked absolutely incredible. The idea in the world of journaling, it was recommended to myself, and I've done it. As far as done it, I'm talking free flow, conscious stream journaling at the end of the day, right? So nothing too, I guess, structured in that sense. But even that as an exercise for me, I loved it. All right. So I guess before we look to sort of wrap things up here, Sally, what have we missed? What would you like to shine a light on?
I just think people taking greater responsibility of their own health, well-being, and on every level in your mind, body, and soul, because my overall company is called Holistically Fit, and it's about empowering yourself inside and out. And the more that we can, step up into the driver's seat of our own life, the more we're going to just sit with that peace and contentment and just be really comfortable in our own skin, because that's what you're talking about, just being more of the authentic you.
I love that. Sally, thank you very much for this evening. This has gone brilliantly. I thought we were going to have a fun conversation. That's exactly what we delivered and more. Most importantly, where can people find you? What's the best place for people to reach out?
So for the clothing, empoweredclothing.com.au or holisticallyfit.com.au is my website, but I'm on all the socials, so LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. But probably start with the websites because it's the easiest. Empoweredclothing.com.au or holisticallyfit.com.au. And may I add, Nathan, it is so refreshing to have a fireside chat like this with you, with someone who's so on this self-discovery journey, whatever path, whatever you want to call it, but, very open-minded, really wanting to engage with people and learn and grow. It's just, it just makes you a deeper, more connected person.
I really appreciate that. I guess in the spirit of transparency, Sally, this was actually wildly recommended to me near on 7 years ago. And I think it's, I wouldn't say regret. I think it was as close to a mistake as not having started it 7 years ago, but here we are. And at least I've started it now.
Fantastic. See, we're the same, but different. Remember, we were talking about, I don't want to die with regrets, and the time is right. So, the energy wasn't right back then. People weren't ready for it. So they're ready for it now. Keep doing what you're doing because you're excellent at it, Nathan.
Sally, you're a star. Thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate that. Thanks for making the time. Thanks for sharing your ideas and thoughts and everything that you're doing to help not only the world, but especially women, especially with empowered clothing. Ladies and gentlemen, go and check Sally out, empoweredclothing.com.au. You can find her on all the socials. I'll be putting links in all the comments and all that sort of stuff on YouTube as well. So, Sally, enjoy the rest of your night. I'm going to go take the dogs for a walk, bless them. But I've had so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Nathan. See you later.